conference much about sustainability. And I think this is actually very important in today's business environment. So I'll just speak a little bit on this so that the students or participants of this conference will have some idea of what to do or when they are out in the world at work, and hope that they can promote some sort of a climate leadership so that they will be better, we have a better planet to live in. So my emphasis here is on climate leadership and also what business schools can do in order to make the environment a little bit better, or the planet of the earth a little bit better for the future generation. All right, so my presentation will be organized in this manner. One, the first I'll talk a little bit on causes of global warming. Then I'll talk about the effect of climate change, the contributions of business schools, what business schools can do, all right, to help or to build climate leaders, contributions of educators, and if there are any questions, I'll take some questions. All right, so first of all, I will focus on the causes of global warming. I think all of you are aware of global warming and the destruction that global warming can cause to the environment. So what causes global warming? Firstly, there are many causes, of course, but I'm just pointing out a few here. The first one that I would like to emphasize on is on industrialization. And as you know that when it comes to industrialization, industries use a lot of chemicals and materials. And what happened is that it will pollute the atmosphere, and it will also pollute the earth beneath it. That means the water as well, right? And secondly, farming. Farming can also cause global warming because it takes up a lot of green space, right? You have to cut down a lot of trees, you open up lands in order to build the farming factories. For example, as shown in the picture here, this is a factory, a farming factory where they rear chickens. So animals also produce a lot of greenhouse gases, all right, from not only chickens, from cattle, from any animal, right? They produce a lot of also a lot of waste, and this will also cause global warming. And generally, there's a lot of pollution from factory farming, right? Because of commercialization, many of the farmers actually they move to factory farming, such as shown in the picture here, where these chickens are actually reared in farms or in factories rather than farms, right? Factories. Another source of or cause of global warming is waste, right? And one of the reasons why there's so much waste in the world today, or rather rubbish, is because of the short life cycle of products. And all these waste will end up in landfills, and the waste in the landfills will release harmful gases into the atmosphere, which will contribute to global warming. Another cause of global warming is power plants. Power plants produce a variety of different pollutants in the atmosphere and also in the waterways. And power plants are responsible for around 46% of total carbon emissions. But besides the industrialization, farming, waste, and power plants, there are also many other industries or other things that cause global warming, such as oil and gas, deforestation, oil drilling, transporting vehicles, consumerism, overfishing. All this contributes to global warming. And what happens is that it will have the effect on climate change, right? So climate will change, or there's climate change, and climate change will lead to certain effects on the environment, all right, on human health and also biodiversity. All right, on the environment, you have things like storms, droughts, wildfires, warming, rising ocean or higher sea levels, acidic oceans, and so on. And for human health also, with the climate change, it affects human health because of the warmer weather or warmer temperatures, air pollution, shortage or lack of clean water, shortage of food, people become hungry. And if the plants die, there's no food, there's a lack of nutrition, health risks, malaria, dengue, and so on. And also, but that biodiversity, there'll be loss of species, example, polar bears. You can see the polar bear here, right? The ice melted. And so, they have it affects them, right? And some of these changes can actually lead to wildlife extinction. A study by Deloitte in 2022 shows that 89% of the executives agree that there is a global climate emergency. So you can see there's an urgency as far as global climate is concerned. So there is a great need to address these climate change issues. And business leaders play a very important role. And in order to groom business leaders to be climate leaders, the schools have to do something. Another finding is regarding impact. 97% of companies have already felt the negative impacts of global warming, for example, climate change. But there's a ray of hope, there's optimism in the sense that 88% of those surveyed agreed that with immediate action, we can limit the worst impacts of climate change. So we can actually address climate change to a certain extent, right? So how does climate change affect businesses? First is the operational impact, right? Studies show that 3 in 10 organizations are noticing the operational impacts of climate-related disasters, right? Disasters that cause damage to facilities, that cause damage to workforce disruption. The second impact is the scarcity or the cost of resources, right? As climate change and the resources are few or scarce, then what happens is that the price of the goods will go up, or maybe they may feel a shortage of inputs and so on to sustain their business. And of course, there's also regulatory and political uncertainty, right? We have carbon tax and so on. That also has an impact on the organization or the business sustainability. Fourthly is the increased insurance costs or lack of insurance availability. Disasters due to climate change may force certain organizations to insure, their business, and the cost of insurance or the insurance costs may be higher than before. And therefore, this have an impact on their business as well. And also, finally, is the reputational damage, right? In most organizations today, they emphasize a lot on sustainability efforts, and sustainability efforts actually has become one very important factor in determining or in demonstrating the organization's culture and also the brand identity. And in fact, the younger generation, some of them, they are very pro, environmentalists or pro-green ways, that they may even choose not to purchase products that are produced at companies that are not environmentally friendly. All right, so what are the contributions of business schools, or what business schools can do? So you can see here, these are some of the top names of business schools. What can they do to help the earth be a better place for everyone, especially in the future? So faculties in business school, or what I mean here are the academics or the lecturers like us, we are actually experts in many fields. In any university that you go to, you will see that there are many lecturers, there are many faculty members who are experts in their own field, some in technology management, some in operations management, and so on and so forth. I have listed a few here. Business faculties, they are experts in business transformation, the measuring performance and return, managing operations, marketing, organizational leadership, incentives, and governance. So these are the 6 things. But besides this, there are also many other fields that many of the faculties major in that can actually contribute to address problems brought about by climate change. I'll go in a little bit deeper into each and every one of this. So when talk in terms of business transformation, most faculties will have access to cutting-edge, relevant knowledge, technology, and innovation. All right, the reason is because, there are a lot of resources out there that faculties can use. There are a lot of grants for them to do research, all right, to find out more, how they can bring about changes. So business transformation, I think those are involved in change management, teaching change management. They have the knowledge here, and any business leader would have some kind of knowledge on business transformation. Measuring performance and return. Here, basically, most faculties who are in this field, they will understand how inputs and outputs and the markets for its products are affected by changing climate. Economists, for example, right? They should have a good idea on this. And also, for managing operations, for those who are in this field, definitely they have a vast knowledge of the technical aspects of operations, management, and also optimization. Right? Optimization is basically making the best of or the most effective use of a situation or resource. Whatever they have, they try to make the best use of it. So all this knowledge are available within the faculties in business schools. Similarly, for marketing, marketing also play a very important role because marketing or marketers have deep understanding, or those who are teaching marketing, they have deep understanding of consumer behavior and marketing strategies. So when we talk about consumer behavior here, business schools or business faculties can show businesses how to motivate consumers into adopting more planet-friendly desires and habits. So if the consumers are more planet-friendly and they go for planet-friendly products, then organizations of business have no choice but to actually produce products that are more planet-friendly. And also they have certain marketing strategies that may help improve the planet. Organizational leadership is the core at all business schools. So when you talk about business schools, definitely leadership is important, right? And that's why, here, if we can, in business schools, we should take into consideration the issues in climate changes, global warming, and so on, and try to nurture a generation of leaders whom we call them as, or group them in what we call climate leadership, so that when they lead organizations, they are able to mitigate some of the climate issues. And this is when, many organizations today or many research has been done on greening the environment and so on. And of course, under organizational leadership, or those who are teaching leadership, there are lots of models of leadership which they can adapt, right, in order to address a group or nurture leaders to address climate issues. Because addressing climate issues is actually very important for the sustainability of the business. Then incentives and governance. Again, here we can say that the business faculties, they are actively engaged in studying, engaged in reading up more of questions on governance and also control. And also they are able to create governance mechanism and high-powered incentives. So all in all, what we're trying to say here is that there is a lot of knowledge, there are a lot of brains within the business environment or business faculty that business faculty members can actually share or impart that knowledge to the students, so that students, when they leave the universities or when they graduate from the business schools, they are able to be climate leaders, or they are able to lead in terms of addressing climate changes. So as a contributor, or as a faculty of the business school, what can you do? Number one, you have got to educate yourself. If you yourself if you are not aware or you do not understand what climate change is all about or what climate leadership is all about, it will be very difficult for you to convey the knowledge to your students. So you have got to educate yourself, understand the science behind it at a basic level, and research to get ahead of the learning curve. So you can do some research on this. In fact, I have started on this, and I have published a paper on green human resource management. Basically, how we can make employees within the organization have the green idea in mind, or a green mindset, so that whatever they do, they will contribute to the sustainability of the environment. Or the and in fact today, there's a lot of emphasis on SDG, right? Sustainable Development Goals, ESG, and so on, which has been introduced into many schools. I'm not so sure whether in India you have what you call university or USR. We talk about CSR, but in university level we talk about USR. So this is also a very good starting point, for students to understand more about sustainability, and also helping to make the earth a better place, and also to address certain climate issues. And another one that you can do is, as an educator, is that you can attend some climate conferences. There are quite a number around. I think every year they will organize a few. You can actually attend to find out more and learn from the others who are in this field. All right. And then secondly is that you can find some collaborators. All right. Because to prepare a syllabus or because it's something new, a climate leadership, for example, talking about environmental issues and so on. It is something new that for a start, you may find it very difficult to come up with the syllabus or how to go about teaching the students, this and so on. Because traditionally in business schools, we don't talk about climate change. We don't actually talk about how to make how climate, changes can actually affect the business. But today, I think it is getting very important. In many countries, you can see that the disasters or the damage done by, climate change not only affecting the individuals, but also affecting the business as a whole, right? For example, destroying or damaging facilities and also disruption to work. All right, so what you can do is that you find it very intimidating to do it yourself or you have no idea what to do. What you can do is that first you have to find other departments and educators. All right, go and see your colleagues who are in the field that is closely related to, the climate. They work together with them. Work together with them, and then discuss and come up with something that you can actually educate the students to be climate leaders in the future. If you can't find any within your organization, perhaps you may look at another university, or you may even turn to your students and alumni who may be actually working in this field or working in organizations that place a lot of emphasis on greening the environment. All right, and thirdly, what you can do is that if you're talking about teaching the students about climate change and to be climate leaders, then we have to incorporate climate change into the curriculum. So what you can do is integrate these themes into your own syllabus, or you may be teaching about human resource management. It doesn't matter. You talk about green human resource management. You talk about green organizational citizenship behavior. If you're teaching organizational behavior, for example. In fact, in a talk that I gave yesterday, one of the students actually probably from the industry, she asked about a green performance management. All right, how can we? Because I was giving a talk on international performance management, and they were asking what about green performance management? How can we, introduce this into the business and things like that? But personally, I feel that, we cannot just focus on green performance management alone, but as a whole, green human resource management, meaning that you have green recruitment, you have, green compensation, green promotion whatsoever, green training whatsoever, in order to make the organization, to have the green mindset. So then you have got to, of course, if you integrate these things into your own syllabus, then you have to change the course content as well, right? Change the course content and call for greater change in consumer behavior. I think this has been emphasized right from a very young age, but I think at the university level, it's still fine, if you can change the mindset of the students, or their behavior, to go for more environmental friendly products, that will actually help improve the environment. And then we have also top-down support, right? Because whatever you want to institute in the organization, in the university, even you say you want to incorporate climate change in the curriculum, it will not be easy if you don't have the support of top management. So you have got to appeal to the school leadership, right? Maybe even modifying our promotion standards, right? So those who are very pro-green, probably they score higher, right? In terms of promotion points, or change the culture of academia and tenure standards, right? So this one all depends on the university. Here I'm talking about university. So despite the fact that, we always think that climate change has got nothing to do with us, right? And there's nothing much we can do. But actually, even as educators in business school, as I've shared with you now, we can do something if we want to. So the emphasis here is on climate leadership. Here we have a lot of leadership that we have taught in schools, transformational leadership and transactional leadership, whatever leadership. But climate leadership is something that perhaps business school have to focus on as well, so that I think it's actually very important for business sustainability because climate change can actually do a lot of damage to the organizations, as I have shown earlier in the research done by Deloitte. All right, so what have we learned? All in all, what I want to say here is that climate change is the biggest crisis facing our planet today. And global warming destroys cities, livelihoods, and species, and will only widen the unjust divides in our world. So, but at the same time, there are good news for educators. As educators, we can still do something to help improve the planet for now and also for the future, especially for the next generation. So there are many climate topics that are relevant almost in every aspect of education. As I mentioned just now, even you are teaching human resource or you're teaching organizational behavior or you're teaching marketing, there are aspects of climate change or climate topics that you can incorporate into your syllabus, all right? Perhaps you may introduce just one topic, for example, marketing, how to change consumer behavior to be more planet friendly, all right? And then, human resource management, green management practices, and so on. So what we can do is that the important thing is that when we incorporate these climate topics into our syllabus or into education, our main aim here is to raise awareness at our institution level. Many universities have started USR, for example. So do our part to develop the next climate change leaders. Prepare students for the work ahead, meaning that, students, you have to prepare students to face the fact that eventually when they join the organizations, by then, probably many organizations have moved towards or joined the green wave, all right? And then they have to know a little bit about greening the environment and so on. We do a lot of this in Chang Jung Christian University. We do bring students to the, to help make the environment a better place. And then we also encourage them to look for solutions, okay, in the sense that, well, you bring them there and show them, right, something is not good here. What is happening here may affect the environment, may affect the climate, may cause climate change, or what can you do to improve the situation? And then help them recognize that they have some responsibility over their future. So tell them, make it clear to them if they do not want to learn and they do not want to care about the environment or changes brought about global warming or climate changes, then their future will also be affected. All right, that's all from me for today. Thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you so much, Doctor. It's not the students' responsibility of the society or the climates in specific. It's a faculty, our responsibility to be to create climatic leaderships. It's what the message we all got to learn from this session. Thank you so much, Doctor, for presenting a wonderful thought to us and to the panel. And it's a great insight. We will take it forward further. Thank you for gracing. I would like to call Professor Dr. Visakhamurthy, sir, to give a small note about that keynote address as well as vote of thanks here to the panel. Professor, over to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, all the eminent professors and other higher authorities and students associated with this international conference on innovation, technology, and management. Whereas we are operating into the world like there is a neck-to-neck competition between companies across industries. Whereas when you want to sustain your business or when you want to take the business leadership, you might be different from other players. So unless otherwise you have a strong innovation, so you cannot sustain in the market. This is an order of the day. Whereas technology is ruling the world, right? Any functional area with reference to business, when you take an example, whereas technology started ruling. So since because of the technology, even this entire market become an international market or global market. There is no more indigenous market, only the global or international market which is existing. So for integrating innovation and technologies, we need a leadership on management, right? In the presence of mismanagement, you cannot take yourself into the great position. To make use of the technology in a better way and having that innovation in a better way, we need an effective management on that. So really I appreciate to have this topic innovation and integration and management to have a conference on this. Probably this will be an eye-opener for our many students. Even the speaker have delivered about the various concepts are really eye-opening. So coming back to the that end of the program, so really let me register my sincere gratitude to our chairman Adithya and students. Respected Sukumaran sir for extending all his support to make this function successful. So whenever the department approaches him for any resources or any other support without any second thought, he used to sanction immediately to make this function in the most successful way. So I also thank Dr. Tenmuli, Professor and Head Department of Management Studies from IIT Madras. There are a lot of takeaway from her speech, like blockchain and automated wealth manager and disrupted banking payment system, that importance of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Then she was highlighting a little bit about the cryptocurrency. So thank you, madam, for bringing all those informations in this forum. So really we understood the importance of development fintech with reference to the various latest developments. Then I thank maybe that Dr. Chang Jung from Britannia University, France. So he was rightly insisting about and pointing about an importance of a domination of artificial intelligence with reference to various business domains and across business, across global country. And he was also highlighting about the blockchain technology and how that expansion of knowledge will help to capitalize the artificial intelligence and blockchain to take an advantages in business leadership. Just I also thank him for coming over here and gracing these occasions and delivered a special guest address on that. So I thank Dr. Vikraman sir, professor from Anna University, Coimbatore. So he was highlighting about the power of innovation. So how this is creating an impact on various domains like economic impact and industrial impact, then how that innovation created an impact on education, then how the innovation and technology will help to overcome the challenges from an international market. So there's something it's a great, and how the technology and engineering will help us to lead the business into the proper way. Then he was highlighting about an inventory control system, like how that effective inventory management system will help us to improve the productivity. Just I also thank Dr. Vikraman sir for having the thoughtful presentation on this. Then I also thank Dr. Ruba Kunasilan, Professor and Director from Bharatiya School of Business Management and Entrepreneurship from Coimbatore. I think it's a really eye-opening for many people. See, thrown a light of unicorn landscape, how it is growing. Then power of innovation ecosystem in India. The statistics he was sharing with all of us is something. It's a great knowledge for all of us. And then she was also highlighting about an incubation and innovation quality index, then digital payment system and the digital first, then rising unicorn in 2020, then example something relating to KTM and then other things. It's very, very innovative, like almost, so we understood what's really the developments which is prevailing in industry. So I wholeheartedly thank Dr. Rupa Gunasilan, Madam, for enlightening this session with latest examples and statistics. Then I also thank Dr. Hooi from Chang Jung Christian University from Taiwan. I think maybe that she was highlighting about the climate leadership. So how it is important for the budding managers and how this is helping for the business sustainability and how this is cause for a global warming. The importance of green idea and green mindset, how this organizational leadership, something with reference to green technology will help. You just thank you, madam, for coming over here and delivering an excellent session on that. So I also thank Principal Madam, Dr. Somasundareswari, that extending all sort of support to make this function as a great one. I personally and on behalf of this School of Management, I thank Director Dr. Sundarapandian. The man, he is dedicating himself for the day and night to make this function. He is the real person, or he is the brain behind to make this function successful. I know that faculty team, they're all maybe that meticulously working for the last maybe that couple of months to make this function very, very successful. I also maybe that thank all these participants, all the professors from Ramachandran and other eminent faculties who were participated from another university. At last, maybe that I also thank our budding managers and leaders and student community, those who are listening patiently from that morning to till date. So once again, I thank all of you. Hope maybe that the information shared in this session will help all the students to construct yourself as a better leader and better citizen of this country. Thank you once again. Right, over to Dr. Sundarapandian.
Thank you, Professor, for the wonderful summary, for making up once again, recalling all the thoughts. And we have again Vikraman sir is back. Thank you, Vikraman sir, for your time, precious time, and allocating for half a day for us. It's a really great honor for us. We are getting back after. Can we take 10 minutes time? This forum will be on. You can mute or you can go for your quick lunch or tea, whatever you prefer. Different time zones we are in. We will be back for our
transformation of technology. Now the global business scenario has been wide spectrum of transformation, particularly on innovation, technology, and management, over for survival and sustainability. As you know, my dear friends, in this context, we might have to go in for to function and take into consideration of so many issues over given in the management, as what the scholars, what the authorities, what the associations have given us.
Hello, Professor.